Good evening and welcome to Action Island presented by FanDuel. Tonight we are breaking down the Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers. A Week 10 Thursday night football matchup. Nothing better to bet on because usually the game is so bad. Why are we calling the show Action Island? Because it's an island game and I got three experts. I got Gilles Gallant, I got Simon Hunter, I got Vegas Refund. Each one of them are going to give me their favorite bets for the night. Our panel will vote on which bets we're keeping and which bets are getting kicked off the island. Everything we're talking about, all the research, all the data, all the picks available for free in the award-winning Action Network app. Don't forget, we got Dan Ravel coming on later in the show to give us all the market updates about tonight's game. And a reminder, it is Week 10 of the football season, and what better way to start off the week than with a no-sweat same-game parlay from our sponsor, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Whether you're new to FanDuel or already have an account, all you have to do is opt into the deal on FanDuel, and you'll get free bets back if your Thursday night same-game parlay doesn't hit. NFL. Same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday. Build your own or tail us with whatever SGP we come up with tonight. This will be the night. Let's dive right in. Simon Hunter, what are your bets, my friend?
Chad, buddy, my first bet tonight will be DJ Moore over 59.5 receiving yards. I feel like it's a no-brainer with AJ Terrell being out, the all-pro cornerback for Atlanta. I feel like a lot of us are going to base a lot of these bets tonight off of that because it's a big deal. He's a shutdown corner. He's out of this game. We've seen the Falcons. They've been giving up yards to receivers. Even better, I got DJ coming off a bad game. He had 6 targets last week. Only had 2 catches for 24 yards. We know how good his talent is, and we know that PJ likes to target him. Since PJ's become the starter, 3 out of 4 weeks, he's been the most targeted receiver. That's a big deal. Clearly, they have chemistry, trust there. I love this for a bounce back spot for DJ at home in this position. Again, that's a short yardage. 60 yards for a guy like him. He can hit that in the first half with his big play ability. We've seen it time and time again. He goes downfield. PJ likes to attack downfield. So I like that a lot. I feel like we're getting a low total here just because of what happened last week, right? Kind of people are off of that now, thinking, that was just one fluky week he had against Atlanta just 2 weeks ago. It's like, no, this guy every week since PJ's become the quarterback, that's where the targets come from. The targets go from, bad with Baker to now when PJ's taken over, it's been really good. So trying to do a little buy low here on DJ. My second bet, it's going to surprise you. It's not going to be the under, right? That burned us last week. I'll stay away from the under this week. I can't deal with losing another under on a 2-point conversion on a Thursday night. Anytime touchdown, Cordell Patterson. People don't even realize it. He actually came back last week. Like, he is back. He's playing. Scored 2 touchdowns last week. He is their red zone threat. We've seen it. We saw last year they had him be the main player in the red zone. Again, he can catch it as well, not just run it. And now we're seeing it that he is the guy. Like last week, almost all the touches in the red zone went to him. So just the fact they're leaving it at a plus number against a Carolina defense that can be run on, right? We've seen a couple weeks here in the red zone. They are susceptible teams running the ball and scoring. So at plus 105, plus 100, that's just too good to pass on Cordell Patterson, who, again, first game back last week, scored both touchdowns for this Atlanta team.
Look, Patterson came back last week and completely trucked a guy running for a touchdown. So he is by all means back. Simon likes DJ Moore over 59.5 receiving yards. He likes Cordell Patterson anytime touchdown, currently plus 105. Gilles, Vegas, let's make our bets and then we will reveal and you will tell me why you chose what you chose. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, reveal. All right. It's a consensus. DJ Moore over 59.5 receiving yards. Gilles, you tell me first why you chose that.
Yeah, I mean, Simon was speaking my language with Cordero Patterson because I thought that was pretty good odds for that. But I think he's correct that this line is a little bit low for DJ Moore. And even when these teams played 2 weeks ago, he finished with 150 receiving yards. A lot of people will gravitate to that big, long catch that he had at the end of regulation, but that was a 65-yard catch. He still had 90 receiving yards in that game. This secondary can be passed on, so I think DJ Moore is just a slightly better option.
Gilles, I'm Vegas. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Moore too. He's just gonna be the best player on the field most likely the entire game. Um, Falcons secondary is the worst in the league, and no matter what secondary he's going against, Moore is always going to get his targets. I trust PJ Walker to give him the targets like with success a lot more than Baker Mayfield, where like 59.5 does seem a little bit low. Maybe it's weather influenced, which I think the weather concerns are starting to lighten up. But I'll go with DJ Moore.
Yeah, look, Simon said it. DJ Moore is the number one talent on this team. He's the one guy who the Carolina Panthers have said they will not trade. Put that in perspective. They were willing to trade Christian McCaffrey. They were not willing to trade DJ Moore. He will be the target. DJ Moore over 59.5 receiving yards. Gilles Gallant, you are up next. What are your bets?
Okay, so let's start on the Falcons side. And let's take a look at Marcus Mariota for an anytime touchdown at plus 260. Now, he has 3 rushing touchdowns this season, 13 red zone carries. And why that's important is that's fifth amongst all NFL quarterbacks. Like, he's really actually getting a lot of work in the red zone. Now, Carolina, we just saw this last week where Joe Mixon pretty much did whatever he wanted. 26th in rushing yards allowed, 12 rushing touchdowns this year. The latter side, again, 29th overall in the NFL. And the Falcons, especially in the red zone, but overall have the second highest run rate in the NFL at 33.6 attempts per game. And I just think when they get into the red zone, Mariota is just a lot more dangerous with his legs than he would be throwing the ball, which is why he has so few pass attempts. So I like him to be able to rush for a touchdown as opposed to throwing for one. Now, if we look over to the Carolina side, a guy that's actually starting to get a little bit of momentum, maybe even combating DJ Moore for number one status, I'm looking at Terrace Marshall Jr. for an anytime touchdown at plus 310. Been heavily featured over the last 2 games, 15 targets, 4 of them in the red zone, and he's been playing over 90% of the snaps since Robbie Anderson has left the team. Now, the Falcons, their secondary, we could talk about it as much as we want, but 12 touchdowns to wide receivers this year. That's 31st in the NFL. They just cannot guard that position. And when they faced each other 2 weeks ago, Terrace Marshall had 2 red zone targets in that game in his hands, dropped. So I don't think that's going to happen again this time. So I like Marcus Mariota or Terrace Marshall Jr. to score a touchdown in this game.
All right, there we go. Marcus Mariota, Terrace Marshall Jr., Simon, Vegas. Let's make our votes. All right, on my count, 3, 2, 1, reveal.
Ooh, all right.
All right. We got 2 sweeps so far. Terrace Marshall Jr. Simon, explain yourself.
Classic. Going off what Jill just said, I do feel like it's the position to take the receivers here against Atlanta. I feel like we're all building off of that. It's just a big mismatch. The Carolina Panthers want to attack the ball in the air. That's how they've been beating teams, moving the ball downfield. And that's a great matchup for Marshall. And I agree, the odds are just blowing up because he had those drops. If he had caught that touchdown, I could see these dropped by, maybe plus 50. To me, you're just getting free value on this number. And it's more about the Mariota. I didn't think that was good enough odds to take Marcus, where this feels like I'm getting really free number here on Marshall. So I love that free value.
Vegas?
Yeah, same reasons. And a lot of the reasons that Jill just got into, I'm about to get into as well on Marshall. But it's just taking advantage of this Falcons secondary. Since Robbie Anderson's been traded, he's been the wide receiver too. He's been getting increasing work. I don't want to spoil a lot of the reasons I'm about to get into, but definitely Marshall anytime TD.
Yeah, we're building a little bit of a foreshadowing here with our choices of Terrace Marshall. I am on Marshall as well. Honestly, it's for a lot of what Simon said. It's about the pricing. Like, when you're making these bets, it's not just going to be about, do you think the player is going to get a touchdown? Do you think the player is going to go over in their receiving yards, or whatever the prop might be? It's about the value. And this is a guy who is getting considerably more playing time, considering more targets. He will be a red zone option. It's the pricing. It's just off. Terrace Marshall Jr., anytime touchdown. Vegas, take us home to the final leg, of which everybody should know, if they're paying attention, what the options will be.
So my first one is going to be Terrace Marshall over 35.5 receiving yards. A lot of the same reasons Jill just got into, but since Robbie Anderson's been traded, he's been the wide receiver too. He's been running a route on 97% of the dropbacks, and he's been on the field 83% of the time. The last 3 games, he's averaged over 50 yards with 6 targets per game. And just taking advantage of this Falcons secondary that is allowing the most yards passing in the entire league. AJ Terrell is out. He's been out for a bunch of games by now. And it's just an easy one. I think it might be deflated based off of the perception of both of these teams, the blowout, and just the Panthers not being great with PJ Walker. But at 35.5, the weather seems to be looking a little bit better than it was yesterday. I'm just going to take his over for the same reasons Gilles got into, and a lot of the same reasons Simon got into for DJ Moore. So one of them should hit. And then my second one is going to be Panthers plus 2.5. It was 3 yesterday. I think the 3 was a little bit influenced on the weather, which would play in the Falcons' hands a lot more. But this is just a Falcons team I don't think should be favored on the road by 2.5, 3 anywhere, let alone a divisional opponent. 2 weeks ago, we saw the game. Panthers should have won, obviously. But Sean Corner brought up a great trend. It's teams coming off of a blowout loss of 20 or more points are hitting at 58% historically, which is a phenomenal trend for the people that love trends. But plus 2.5, divisional dog. It's a contrarian side, short week at home. We saw the game 2 weeks ago. Falcons just shouldn't be favored to anyone on the road.
All right. Gilles and Simon, let's make our picks here. 3, 2, 1, reveal. All right.
Wow.
We got a clean sweep on every single one of our picks. Simon, take it away. Why do you like the Panthers tonight?
I feel like Vegas brought it down perfectly, where this is just a spot where this line's inflated. It should be closer to a pick than a plus number. The fact that it was plus 3, that was a gift. He's right. It's 2.5. Still a good number. We've seen it time and time again. 2 matters. Two is now a key number. So 2.5 still matters to me. I wouldn't just blindly take the money line here. And I like the fact that, again, that trend, Chad, you tried playing that last week. The Raiders had gotten blown out 24-0. We tried taking them last week. Didn't work. Means even more so we're due. We're even more so due. So love this trend. We bet it usually because it works out for us, right? Almost close to 60% of the time it hits for you. So the Panthers catching points here in a game that the public's going to be all over Atlanta. Like, again, that team, they started 6-0 ATS. I believe they're on an 0-3 slide right now. This just fits another team of started really hot. The book's caught up to it. The public hasn't. They're still going to take them in this game. I think we're going to free, 1 or 2 points here. Love that Panthers play.
All right, Gilles.
A lot of the same reasons, Chad. I just think that the wrong team is favored here. I think the Falcons, they're overachieving. I don't think the Panthers are. I think the Panthers, if anything, they should try to be tanking, but at the same time, they could still get a win over a team like Tampa. And I think Tampa, they won 21-15 over the Falcons, if I'm correct. And so I think they could beat this team at home, especially on a short week, with the short line like this. I disagree, Simon. I would actually take the Panthers money line in this spot.
Interesting. All right. Well, listen, it's an interesting idea to take the money line. I'm kind of with Simon. I'm getting too much value at the 2.5. And these games are so unpredictable between these two teams where so many mistakes happen. I like the Panthers. I like them because of 3 key words: short, home, dog. I'll add 3 more. Thursday night football. That's generally the side you want to be in. I'll take every little bit of help I can get. So that wraps it up. We're clearly indicating throughout the 3 legs which side we like. I'll wrap it up with the final package as soon as we get back from Darren Ravel on the news desk.
Thanks, Chad. Falcons minus 2.5. It's been that way all week. 80% of the bets, 82% of the handle on the Falcons. Total at 42.5. 64% of the bets on the under. 54% of the money on the under. Most bet props, we have Patterson to score first touchdown plus 650. Him to score an anytime touchdown plus 110. And for him to get over 54.5 rushing yards minus 115. And a reminder, you can start off your week with a no-sweat same-game parlay from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Whether you're new to FanDuel or already have an account, all you have to do is opt into the deal on FanDuel, and you'll get free bets back if your Thursday night same-game parlay doesn't hit. NFL same-game parlays are the perfect way to combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payday. Build your own or join us on ours. Back to you guys.
All right, Darren. Thank you very much. So to recap, our SGP features, we got DJ Moore over 59.5. We got Terrace Marshall, anytime touchdown. We got the Panthers plus 2.5 for the payout. See the graphic on the screen. Make sure you take advantage of the no sweat same game parlay. Don't forget, our guys had some other bets. We had Cordero Patterson, anytime touchdowns from Simon. Gilles likes Marcus Mariota, anytime touchdown. Vegas Refund also like Terrace Marshall over his receiving yards. If you're joining us for any of these SGP bets, make sure to let us know. Follow us at Action Network HQ. Let us know in replies, DM us, whatever you got to do. Everything we're talking about, it's available for free in the award-winning Action Network app. This has been Action Island presented by FanDuel. We'll see you next week.